product set of attachment-based
Yeah.
ecosystem of prosthetic hand. So this is
Mhm.
the Kriya adapter. I'm just showing it
Mhm.
on video.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
can see it.
Yeah.
So basically, the idea is that the user has to have the freedom to choose what activity they do.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right. So you have this cosmetic hand, which is basically for my public appearance, going in public, going to meet someone, friends, going on a date, anything like that, right? So you have a cosmetic arm that basically makes it easy for you to go out in public without getting stared at.
So yeah, thanks for coming back on. I know it's been November 2021 since I last spoke to you.
Oh wow, that's quite a while.
So it's a long time ago. So it's nice to see that you're still going.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's good for me also that we're still going.
Still going, yeah. So super excited to speak to you today. So basically, this is like a "Where Are They Now" feature. So speaking to guests in the past and see what they're doing now.
Okay.
I particularly like your story because I've seen your journey the last 6 years. So you've done a lot. So basically, just talk about what happened since you came on the show. If you can share the stats, the finance, going on TV, pitching, advice, the team, how the project has changed, insights on startup life and things like that, really. For those people who didn't listen to that advert or that didn't listen to that podcast, please just introduce yourself and what you're building, please.
So, hi Neil, thank you so much for having me. I am Rishi Krishna. I am the CEO and co-founder of Symbionic. Symbionic is an India-based startup which specializes in designing and manufacturing prosthetic hands and generally prosthetics for people with disabilities. So we started in 2019 and we're still going, and it's been a very fun journey reaching here.
Okay, cool. My microphone was the wrong way around.
Yeah, since we last spoke to you then, let's start with any sort of the product itself. How has that changed?
So when we started in 2019, the main concern for us was to make a low cost robotic hand for amputees, right? So like just TLDR, we were able to build it. We were able to raise a lot of angel investments and fundings, equity investments, and we were able to bring in good talent and build a kick-ass state-of-the-art bionic arm, along with the robotics, the sensors, everything that includes a bionic arm, right? We were able to build it indigenously in India at a fraction of the cost from whatever is available out there. When we did that, when we started doing field trials with actual people, right, including myself, but then also a lot of other people, we understood that there was certain limitations which is inherent to a bionic arm, which is like there is a level of weight which makes it very inaccessible to a lot of people to use it consistently throughout the day. There is also a naturalness to a real hand that, like drinking water, I can just do this instead of taking the robotic arm and then placing it and then opening my hand, closing it, and then drinking. In a simple UI UX term, the number of steps adds a lot of friction to using the limb for any daily activity, which kind of demotivates our users to use the prosthetic hand, on a regular basis. As such, they kind of abandon it. So, like we discussed this with our advisors, with our technical staff, and we kind of understood that the abandonment rate of prosthetic has not gone down in the last few decades. People would buy a prosthetic hand and then they just abandon it. They just don't use it. And when we asked why, they said most of the reasons is that they don't find it useful. And India, additionally, we also saw that they were also finding it heavy and uncomfortable and like sort of a hindrance to their daily life, not even useful. So and also for personally, I was not using the bionic arm. So the bionic arm is called the Titan arm, right? So we understood that there is more research and more work that has to be put in, but the users that we had wanted a solution today, as in just. And we met with a person with two-hand amputation. Both his hands were lost, and his biggest challenge was eating in public. And he had a set of prosthetics that was given to him through he got it through some organization, and it was kind of robotic. It had its function and all of that stuff, but then it was like kind of lying in some shelf and he was not using it. It was like collecting dust somewhere. And this is the case with like majority of people that I see here. So when I asked him what he does to eat today, so he would take a bottle, a Pepsi bottle, and just cut it in half, a plastic bottle, and cut it in half. He'll just insert that half on his stump and bend a spoon and just makeshift sort of a spoon socket thingy, and then he used that to eat. But he wouldn't do that in public. He would always eat in home. We realized that like this is the kind of ingenious solutions that we need to think of, rather than try to build a tech and kind of push it on people that barely use them. And that's basically how our current line of product, the Kriya Adaptive, came to be. The Kriya Adaptive is basically a set of attachment-based ecosystem of prosthetic hand. So this is the Kriya Adaptive. I'm just showing it on video.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
can see it. So basically, the idea is that the user has to have the freedom to choose what activity they do.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right. So you have this cosmetic hand, which is basically for my public appearance, going in public, going to meet someone, friends, going on a date, anything like that, right? So you have a cosmetic arm that basically makes it easy for you to go out in public without getting stared at. So you don't have to feel, a lot of people do feel the self-conscious feelings about like people staring, looking, asking questions, or like, showing sympathy. Those kind of things are not necessary. So it's just to generally avoid that, having a cosmetic hand works. But then that is not the only solution people are looking for. People were looking to do other things also. So we designed this thing called ride assist. So ride assist basically allows somebody to drive
Yeah.
and it's kind of, you could just take it and that's it.
That's
So
pretty
you
cool.
just,
Just going.
yeah. So you just, you just attach it and remove it in within seconds, and it allows you to like, drive a two-wheeler. Like something a lot of people wanted, because see, if you have a demography study, a majority of the amputee population in India would come under the maybe middle class, lower middle class population. And their primary mode of transportation would be two-wheelers. And and also not just for generally transportation, but also livelihood. Depends on being able to travel and like, go to places. If that is kind of hindered, their livelihood itself is hindered. And we thought, okay, one of the best ways to create independence amongst this population would be to be able to help them like, like independently travel. And then we saw more and more things that came into need. Like, so this is a gym assist. It helps somebody to do workouts, exercise, strength training, those kind of things, because I mean, you do require some level of aspiration, some level of strength to maintain good health. And we also had a request to design something for swimming.
Yeah,
So
okay. That's pretty cool.
So this is to swim. And so we have a bunch of things. We have something to eat, something to like, write, like use phones. There's a lot of different attachments. And we understood that this modular system actually helps people. The main reason why it helps them is that when you compare a prosthetic leg versus a prosthetic hand, a leg has a very definite purpose. So you walk, you have to walk. And even like, the walking prosthetic is not used to run. If you see, there is a specific leg for running. Like if you'd have seen the Blade Runner, right?
Yeah.
There's a specific limb for running and there's a specific limb for walking. But then with the prosthetic hand, it is assumed that one type all solution is working. Like, that one robotic arm you just put it on a person and they will be normal, which is not true. That's not going to happen anytime soon, at least, because there's a human behind that tech. Again, there's a human that has to use that technology, and that person can come from any background. That person can come from, that person can have stump strength or not have enough strength and may not understand the technology. And there's so many other factors that is to be considered. And you can't just make one tech and just push it on people without getting their opinion. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
saying
cool.
that the Kriya is perfect for everyone, but
Mm,
we are open to customize it based on everyone's preferences and needs.
mm,
And
mm.
that is the first part of the solution that we created. The
Yeah,
second part that we created was the socket. Basically, the socket is the part that goes on the amputated part,
yeah.
the stump, right? So we realized that the fit and comfort is the second main reason for, abandonment. So we created a entire process, a workflow, where you basically 3D scan the amputated hand and the residual real hand. And then we have a digital workflow which allows us to make the socket digitally 3D printed, tested, and then kind of modified, customized to the patient. Um, so traditionally, this would take you 2 to 3 weeks of manual work.
Yeah.
You have to put a plaster of Paris and create a mold and all of those
Mm,
things. For us, it became much more simpler, much more convenient. And also, in case the patient loses or breaks their hand or something in the time they use it,
mm.
they don't have to come and do all the process again. We already have the scan data, then the socket data. We can just print it and send it to them like anytime.
Okay. Yeah,
So
cool.
this is like a
Wow.
whole system that we built around the prosthetic. So that
You,
end of the day, the customer has the best experience that they can have.
wow. You've been very busy since I last spoke to you in 2021. You mentioned
Yeah,
dating. I mean, you did mention dating. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Give you something to talk about during the date.
obviously. No, I mean, that has been kind of a primary request from a lot of
What
people.
I'm trying to say is, what's been the reaction like in public to this?
Uh, like when I wear it or when, like
Yeah,
how.
yeah. When you wear it, yeah, in just like a general day to day, do you still get stared at, or obviously you're wearing a sleeve, so people probably won't know. But when they come up to you and speak to you, things like that.
No. I mean, I think it has been quite positive, to be very frank.
That's cool.
It has changed the way they see you, mainly because before, when you when you walk around. So see, I am also a big proponent of not wearing prosthetics all the time.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
sometimes just don't wear it and I go in public with just my amputated hand free. Like I wear a
Mm,
half shirt and go. I don't cover it up. I don't
mm.
because I don't feel it's right of anyone to make me feel uncomfortable. If they feel uncomfortable, it is their problem, not mine.
Yeah, true.
It is something that they have to deal with. But I also sometimes just want to kind of go to a movie or go in public. But then when I wear the prosthetic, it kind of changes the demeanor of people. They're like, they look at it, but they look at it in like curiosity. They're like, hey, what is this? And a lot of people actually, when I'm driving two-wheeler, especially, a lot of people in the signal, they'll stop and they'll ask me, hey, what's that? It's pretty cool.
Mm,
And they'll
mm.
take photos. They'll treat me like a celebrity at some point. So that's been cool.
How big's the team now?
We're
It must have
10.
changed.
We're 10
Yeah.
now. We kind of got a little higher than we kind of reduced. So we have a bunch of designers and engineers, and then we also have operationally we've hired a few people for content and outreach,
Mm,
especially outreach because
mm.
so that's a separate kind of problems that we're trying to
Yeah.
solve now.
Yeah. I mean, from a CEO point of view, your role must have changed then. Are you more hands off now? Now you've got a team of 10 people now, or are you still hands on, as it were? Because obviously you're the product, as it were. So
Yeah, I think I'm always a little hands-on,
literally
especially,
hands on.
yeah. Especially like when we talk about product, I really love being involved in the process of coming up with the ideas and designing, giving my inputs in the design. Even if it is electronics or tech, I really want to be in the process at all points. But then I understand my limits, and I kind of work with the team to ensure that the best possible solution is given. Now I think in the last few months, or at least around 6 to 8 months, I've been mostly involved in the other side of the problem of this, like not the product but the distribution. So I'm trying to solve for distribution, solve for revenue, which is inherently like a completely different game. Like it's not
Yeah.
like the product games are much fun. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm inherently, I enjoy building, but I'm also kind of okay at selling, because I'm not actually selling. I just talk to the people and
Yeah.
say that, see, I'm using it. I like it. If you want, you can get it, and we'll see how it works. So I don't really sell. I'm just talking to them. But then it has worked quite well for me to sell this product.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. And how are sales coming along? Have you set yourself a target this year? How was
So a
last year
target.
doing compared to this year? Or
So the last year, for the most part, it was the decision to pivot from Bionic to Kriya.
okay.
That was our main, the entirety of last year was transition from the Bionic arm to Kriya hand. Because it was not an easy decision to make, because we
No.
kind of, we had to convince our investors, we had to convince our like stakeholders, even ourselves for that matter, that hey, this really seems like a good idea, let us try to do that. So the kind of nail in the coffin was last year we were invited to be on the Shark Tank India season 4.
Oh,
And in that we had to show a fully working good product that had potential, right? So we decided to go with the Kriya. Although we did show the Bionic arm as well, we mainly focused on Kriya, and kind of a lot of inquiries came for it afterwards. So then we realized that, hey, you know what, this makes sense. Like, why don't we transition and continue continue the Bionic R&D on the back end, and until we are satisfied, let's not ship the Bionic. So now we are shipping the Kriya. We've been shipping it for the past 8 months, 6 to 8 months, and slowly moving, like say from 1 to 2 a month to now like 10 to 15 a month. We have about 50 people who are our users right now for Kriya. And it's slowly increasing every month. So our target for this year is 350 people, and the next year we're
yeah.
targeting like 500 users. So totally
Okay.
we have a target of 1,000
Yeah.
in the short, next week by 2027. We want to target 1,000 amputees in India. So yeah, there are some challenges in the market that we're trying to address. While we it's not just that once we have a product, that's what I thought, when we started. Once we make a kick-ass product and people are just going to swarm in and they just buy, that did not happen.
Let's talk about Shark Tank. I mean, that's absolutely huge around the world. What was it like when you got the email saying that you're going on the show?
No, so this was our second time applying. First time we got to the in-person interview and studio testing, and then I think they didn't select us to go to the next round. But then
Oh.
this time somehow everything went smoothly, and they asked us to be on the show. And it was really last minute. Like we had like less than 2 weeks to prepare everything. So we had to uh, arrange a bunch of stuff, print a bunch of stuff, and even get our old employees in to help us with certain work. And all of this while we were shifting our offices. So it was
Yeah.
like a crazy time, really crazy time. And the shoot was in Mumbai. I'm in Chennai, so we had to take our entire team to Mumbai, and kind of we got them settled there in a hostel, so that they could keep working and keep being there to support if anything was needed. But yeah, the show was really good. Show went really well. We got a grant from Adani Foundation. So we met Jeet Adani, who's the who's now the spokesperson for Adani Foundation, and he actually agreed to support us with a 1 crore rupee grant distributed to 1,000 people, 1,000 amputees. And so we got the first tranche, and we started. Now we've used that to start distributing to a lot of people, which has been amazing. And we also kind of on the show, we won a check from Namita Thapar. That was for 40 lakhs. And but that didn't pan out afterwards. After a lot of back and forth, I think we like we walked away.
Yeah.
Both of us have walked away, so we're not going ahead with that investment. Luckily, after that, just this year in March, March, we had another event called Startup Singham. I don't know if you've
Okay.
heard about Startup
Yeah.
Singham. So it's a
Yeah.
Tamil version of Shark Tank India.
Okay.
So Startup Singham is basically like same format, slightly modified and all of that, but it's specifically in Tamil
Yeah.
for the
Okay.
audience. And we went on that, and we won investment of 2 crores
Okay.
from about 6-7 investors.
Okay,
So,
that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Just going back to Shark Tank, then, what was it like? 5 minutes before that you were going to go on air, you must have been really nervous, excited about the chance to pitch your idea in front of millions of people.
I was actually nervous. I will be honest. I am not very good at stage and stuff. So it was a little nerve wracking, and definitely something that I was just scared where I will mess up, because I know that I might mess up when I'm nervous. Niranjan, on the other hand, was super calm for some reason. Both of us hadn't slept for like 3 days, so I don't know. Maybe that helped. Um, just before the like going in, my throat started itching like crazy, and I was feeling like, oh no, I'm done. We are fucked. Somehow I powered through, and the initial that 2 minute pitch is the most important, right? Where when you get in, like, you have to do this 2 minute continuous presenting, and then only they'll start ask questions. So that 2 minute they prepare you really well, like how to
Okay.
present, like not like prepare, but like they'll tell you how to, what to say, what to not say, and kind of where to keep your hands and those kind of things, which is just generally camera sense. So I kept that in mind. I was just like very slightly just robotically, I just did everything that was in my brain, and that went really well. But then I started having this dry throat, and then I kept drinking water, and it was like during the shoot I felt that I was just a mess, but then when it came out, it kind of came out well. I don't think
Yeah.
there was some things that I didn't want, I felt like was not necessary questions during the shoot. They didn't actually put it, so those were kind of good.
As someone who's now the expert in pitching, then what advice would you give our startup listeners then, who are in the process of pitching to like an investor or customers even, based on your experience in the Shark Tank?
I think I think investors really want to invest in people who know their stuff, like who really understand the market and the product, not just one aspect of it, but like holistically. And they also want to learn. I think a lot of very good investors want to learn a lot. Like when you go there with this idea that, we are going to have a good discussion about the product, about the market, about this industry, and not just to seek money. Like I, I think this sense of desperation that I need money uh, kind of devalues the pitch itself, because like this 5 minute pitch and 2 minute pitch, all of these things kind of devalue the conversation, because end of the day it is a conversation. It's like what we are having right now, Neil. Like I think end of this podcast, if you are an investor, I would want you to understand this kind of business and what we do really well. So I would try to explain to you my perspective of how I see things, right? And also try to understand how you see it, because that's also equally important. As an investor, if I don't understand, or if I refuse to see how you see, and if I refuse to take your criticism, accept your criticism, I think those are some big red flags. So I have learned to do that now. I have learned to ask a lot of questions to the investors as well, and not just take in all the questions, and also kind of stay strong where I feel strong and also kind of relent where I think that they are right. Those kind of balance is really helpful, has been really helpful for me to grow as a founder, because a lot of like investors are not out there to get you. It's not like zero sum. It's not that they want to kind of destroy you or hurt you or anything. They are just people who want to invest and get a return, but also be part of something cool. And you are building something cool. So if it's a good match, it's a good match. And if you go with that mindset, I think a lot of nervousness and kind of eases up. Like you're just going there for a talk. It's not a viva in your college that
It's not
you have to
it's not an
pass.
interrogation.
Yeah, I think most of the first-time founders treat investment pitches as interrogation or viva, rather than a friendly discussion with peers. And that kind of affects the way they get perceived, I think, and also breaks the tone in how you converse with people. I think that is a big problem.
The Startup Singham on
Yeah.
YouTube. The judge said, I quote, where is it now? You gave people a second life. What an amazing thing to say, and what an amazing thing to do. I mean, how does that make you feel?
Amazing. Actually, one of the judges in Startup Singham was an investor in our company already,
Okay.
Kumar Vembo. He had funded us like 2 years before the Startup Singham episode aired.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like, and the fact that he came back and reinvested shows the kind of trust in the vision that we have. I think that was by far more meaningful to us than anything else. Like the fact that he chose to reinvest, because that kind of shows other investors also that these guys are in the right direction. I feel like the Startup Singham episode was more relaxed. Maybe because we are already experienced with Shark Tank,
Yeah,
we felt
true.
okay, we felt like, oh, we have some experience doing this. But also the questions and the discussions were really, really natural, like it's a very organic and naturally flowed. And we were also kind of more mature in that 1 year, like when we went into the market, when we tried to sell the product. So a lot of experience we had gained. So I think that helped us really well. We could have done a few things better. Like I think we are always not very good at negotiating equities and valuations. So we could have done that better. We could have had those conversations in a more mature manner. But then I think the rest of the things went quite well.
Because one of the judges was worried about scaling. The response was, but what was the response to that then?
So
I'm sure
in the you mean like in the Shark Tank or like
in
what in
Startup
generally?
Singham.
Startup Singham.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure one of the lady judge said that
Yeah.
she was worried about your scaling.
So yeah, I mean, I think the bigger challenge was like I think her point of view came from Aparna ma'am. She came from this perspective, which makes sense that we've been alive since 2019, and we have like back then during the shoot we had like less than 25 active users. So the number was not making sense to her. And like she was worried, how are we going to take this 20 to 20,000 or whatever number that we target, right? So that was one question in our mind. The answer for that was that as I already told you, like last year is when we started transitioning from the bionic arm to Kriya, and then now is when we are trying to actually actively bring this product out. So that transition took some time, and now we are understanding the market better, and we are able to deploy on a weekly basis. So the numbers are going to progressionally increase. So I wanted to also kind of talk about the market.
Talk about the market. How's that changed since we last spoke?
Yeah. So I would say the main thing that has changed is our understanding of it rather than the market itself. Because when we started, a lot of our data had been through secondary research. like available data online, case studies, or maybe even there was some surveys done by the government itself, census survey, right? But we understood that this data was not to be trusted. So we had to just extrapolate from it based on our own assumptions. The problem was that there was no consolidated data of upper limb amputees anywhere. Like how many amputees are there? What type of amputation do they have? Like, are they using prosthetics? None of this data is available. Nobody's collecting it. And even if they do, I don't think they're sharing it. So there is no proper mechanism to have disability based census data in India right now, and which is a big challenge if you want to do any large scale implementation of policies in disability, like any disability based policies. If you want to implement without this data, you can't do that. So imagine like a startup like ours, when we go raise money, how do you tell what is your market size? It's next to impossible, right? So this was one problem. The second set of problem was that a lot of users or a lot of amputees don't know we exist, and they're all distributed. So so very unaware about what exists out there, about the kind of policies that are there for them. So there's a lot of issues that exists in this domain, right? Very few people you can reach through online marketing. The majority of this, you wouldn't find them online. So there are like these set of challenges that we were facing when we started deploying, right? How do you find people? That is the crux of the problem. Like, how do you find them? One way is obviously has been always helped is through social media. Like, when Shark Tank released, when Startup Singham released, when some of our users put off videos, we get a lot of like inbound outreaches, like people just start reaching out to us. So that has helped quite a lot. So we are focusing on that, where we do like this B2C space of outreaching and connecting with people and deploying them. But that number is not very consistent. So we wanted some way to make this into a process where we can scale this to a lot of people. So one way that we did is we work with community coordinators. Mostly these would be part of nonprofits or NGOs that are working in this different regions in the disability sector. So we partner with these NGOs. We ask them to organize like a sort of an assessment camps in rural villages. We've done like some 10 camps till date, 15 camps till date, where we invite the people with amputation to to a single common space, and we kind of talk to them. We assess their needs. We are building our own database basically, and then a part of them buy from us directly. A part of them we are raising corporate CSR funds, and we deploying it to them at a subsidized price. So like I said, Adani Foundation and some other organizations, Kageshwari Foundation. So there are a few organizations that have supported our like endeavor, and this funds, they give us funds to deploy these kits to amputees who cannot afford it themselves. So the idea is that once they get this kit, they are able to regain their livelihood, and they can go back to work, and they can kind of start earning, and also kind of if they want more attachments or they want in the future they can buy it themselves. So that is the general plan. So that's working out really well now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Last time we spoke to you, there's no such thing as AI, or I don't think AI existed back then. What are your thoughts on AI? How are you using it? And what particular tools? And
yeah, I mean, I think
is it your general life or your business life and things like that? So
everything. I think everything.
Yeah.
I think
it's huge, right?
my days have like 60% of my day. My work day would be spent like using Claude. I mean, I think it's definitely amplifies the amount of work I can do in a day. That's what I have seen, and it's not just like my work, but I'm also able to kind of improve the efficiency of the team itself, like to maybe from content creation to organizing operations, and even like things like generating invoices. Like don't need an individual. You don't need to hire somebody to do that anymore. You don't need to hire an individual to manage your finances. So these are things that AI can do now. So we're trying to kind of optimize on those things because it's definitely a wonderful tool for a startup. Um, I also saw that in between I was getting over reliant and I stopped thinking, which was not good. So,
Stop
so
using your brain.
I stopped using my brain. Yeah, that's the main part of so it works well. So I didn't want to do that, and so I'm trying to build a balance and see where exactly is it needed. One of the things that we are building internally is also to use AI to automatically qualify, disqualify inbounds, or to scan. So once we have a scan data, to auto design a CAD model for the socket, which could be used as the first draft, which would reduce the number of hours that an engineer has to uh,
Yeah,
takes
that's a good
to
idea.
design the final CAD. So if it takes him 3 hours, it could be done in maybe 15 to 20 minutes. So some small minor changes that they can do on the AI generated model. So this is something that is an in internal experiment that we are running, and it's pretty possible today because of how advanced the AI has become.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that we saw was we used to feel like a lot of tech was inaccessible. What I mean is doing hardware and electronics felt very inaccessible to me who's not in from that domain, right? And I think that barrier to entry has been kind of removed. I feel like as long as you want to understand something, you can sit and you can learn and do things. Like I can do firmware coding now. I can kind of work with PCBs. I can work with boards. I can build something. So